agenda where it's at, bitch.
Guys, welcome to a special late night edition of. I gotta do the other way. Special late night edition of Into the West. We just saw The Flash.
Yeah.
Little reaction show. We're gonna give you about 10-15 minutes before we get into any spoilers.
Spoilers.
Sonny is here.
I'm back. Hey, what's going on?
The hot dog is here.
What it do, baby?
Marcus is here.
Good evening, everyone.
And over there in the lounge, we have Uncle Nephew Shane. He's awake,
I'm surprised.
He made it here.
looking good, buddy.
You stayed awake the whole time?
Hey, thumbs up.
That's right. He didn't
This
get
is the
lost.
second time he's seen The Flash
Yeah.
because he watched it earlier this week with.
He didn't get lost there either.
What a guy.
Different score second time around, huh?
He didn't get well. Listen, he didn't get lost tonight because we drove him.
Yes. He's doing fine.
I drove him there and I drove him back. I made sure we put him in the trunk. We made sure that he got there.
This
in one
area
piece.
looks very different at night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put that way.
Yeah, no, trust me.
Even scarier. Yeah, let's put that way.
100%
Yeah.
scary.
Hit it.
Guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I want to get what your thoughts are about this. I had a good time with this. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I had high hopes. So
Yeah.
Sonny, what'd you think?
I mean, I kind of went into it thinking, kind of whatever. I hope it's good. And I was really pleasantly surprised. I know maybe not for everybody. That opening scene was probably a lot. There was definitely some wonky CGI through the movie. I will definitely admit that. But I had a lot of fun. I had a lot more fun than I thought I was going to have.
Yeah,
It was really cool seeing.
much more enjoyable than.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How long was that?
It's like 2 hours.
2.5 hours.
It was
Yeah.
pretty brisk for how long it was. Yeah.
Pacing was good.
Pacing
They
was-
It was excellently paced.
there was always something going on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed it.
Engaged.
What about you? What about you guys?
I was never like, okay, what are we doing? Which is always a good sign for a longer movie.
Right.
Damn, 2.5 hours.
No, that thing
Yeah.
moved. It's nice
Marcus,
we
your
didn't have to sit
thoughts?
through. I think sometimes trailers make movies feel
They add on.
longer.
Yeah,
They just went right
And
into it.
We didn't
Which was
have
pretty
to
cool,
watch any
actually.
trailers. Shout out.
I was in the
our house.
lobby when the movie
I
started.
know.
Austin
I
was at
was too.
Milkshake
I
was
was
actually
with you.
texting me. He goes, "Movie's starting."
Movie
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh,
I thought it was gonna be some trailers. It
Yeah.
was cool. I
But
really
we
enjoyed it.
didn't miss much. I had someone fill us in. Yeah, we didn't miss
You
much.
missed peanut butter sandwich talk.
Yeah, peanut butter sandwich talk, which didn't have to even be bothered with. But anyway,
Austin said,
so
say it went by in a flash. That was a good
Ah,
Wow.
Austin,
Yeah,
other Austin,
knee
not our
slapper.
Austin.
that is our.
what? Austin, Texas.
Austin lean.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
So, yeah, my thoughts are, I think it was a great movie. There were times where I forgot that it was a comic book movie. It was just a great movie.
Yeah.
On its own, like enjoyable, great to see with friends, great to see with food and drink. It was a lot of fun.
I agree.
Like seriously, like a lot of fun.
yeah, I agree.
And yeah, this is what I've been waiting for how many years? 6 years? Probably
6 to 8 years.
I mean, we've had some good stuff in between that time, obviously. But I mean, if DC had maybe started this right here, we would have had some serious rivalry going on
Oh,
between
for sure.
Marvel and DC.
100%.
I honestly believe that.
I really adored this. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly believe that DC's characters, their universe, is far more relatable than Marvel's in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And if they did it correctly, they could have blown Marvel out of the water a long time ago.
Yeah, if they started with this as their like launching pad.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even like the Batman, what we saw with you know,
That was fantastic.
You know, Matt Reeves
I liked
is
that
Batman.
more than I liked this, but not because this was
Because
not,
it's Batman. Because it's Batman. Yeah, we know.
Well, I mean,
Always.
this had a lot of Batman.
Always, dude. No, I agree, dude. I agree.
But I mean, this
though.
was
Yeah.
borderline a Batman movie. So, but yeah,
Not your Batman.
I also, well, I love Michael Keaton. Don't get it
okay,
twisted,
okay.
son. Don't get it twisted. I really love this movie. I think we'll get into more specifics, but the first 10 to 15 minutes I did not love. I thought it was a little too wonky. And not CGI wise, like in like narrative and like just the way everything happened. I was just like, oh, okay. I hope the rest of the movie isn't like this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I know if I think most of us in the room enjoyed that opening scene. I thought it was a little like clamored together and a little. There was one element to it that I did like. He's in a coffee shop. I liked that. I thought that was funny. I thought how that wrapped up. But I think the whole like parts of it came together. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna dig this. And then the rest of the movie was incredible. I really
Awesome.
loved it. I think the changes they made from Flashpoint and the analogs they used, like this instead of that, or this instead of this, worked perfectly. It is
works.
the perfect way to adapt a book, a comic book,
Right.
a short story. You take the themes of the story, and if you want to change stuff, that's fine as long as you keep the themes intact. And they did that without like perfectly every single time.
Right. And for fans, I think you kind of could tell what they changed. Like you could recognize what they were giving a head nod to versus, you know, what they took, you know, either drastic liberties on or whatnot. And it was still, it worked. It worked because sometimes you have to do that when you're going from medium to medium. You know, some things aren't as translatable when you're going from comic to film or TV to film or book to film, you know,
Right.
prose. So sometimes you have to do some of those creative, you know, tweaks and take some of those,
changes.
take some of those artistic liberties. But man,
Yeah.
it was
worked.
It worked. It was
worked.
great.
I think they leaned into the use of his powers.
Yeah,
That was really
really well.
that was great. I'm glad
Instead
they
of
did
him
that.
just being fast, it's just
Right.
they showed him like phasing through solid objects.
The phasing
and
thing was so
everything
cool.
else.
that was dope.
It was
That was
really
dope.
cool.
That was dope.
I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I was going to.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when you hear about delays and
Right.
we've got to redo this, and then somebody else is attached, and then there's stuff shot, and then you know there's a new head of the whole studio,
Yeah.
and
Right.
everything else. You start to expect like the worst,
Right.
and
It's true.
and it really, I didn't have anything to be that concerned about after I watched the movie.
No.
I really enjoyed it. It was one of the movies that you had fun with, and the connectivity in the grand scheme of things isn't really that important because it told a really cool story.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
And if you're just watching this movie as like you're saying, it's a good comic book movie, Marcus, but
Right.
it's also just a good
a great movie.
standalone movie.
Right.
And
Right.
for what they're trying to tell you, the story they're trying to tell you, it was really good. And I can understand now why Shane was speechless when
Yeah.
he saw the premiere.
Milkshake
earlier
and
this
I
week.
told you guys.
thought it was the
before
No, you're
we
right.
went
Yeah.
You're right.
That especially Milkshake, he I think he put it perfectly when he said that this is a love letter to DC.
I
Yeah,
agree,
it
yeah.
And there's a lot of spots in it where you can see that, you can tell that, especially the third act when everything comes to a head and the crescendo happens and everything starts to work on fire on all cylinders. You can see that this truly is a love letter to DC, and I think a lot of the fans that went to go see this movie were truly amazed by what they accomplished. They kept the story simple, which is what they needed to do, because because the grand scheme of things, this movie doesn't mean all that much.
Right.
Yeah.
So they kept the story simple. They kept the acting. That's why Ezra Miller was so good in this movie. I thought he brought it home because you actually identified with him, his character wanting, his mother to live and all these things.
Had me
and-
tearing up at the end.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we let it be known before you went to go see it that probably this is going to be a pretty outstanding film. Sure, the CG was a little wonky at times, but as far as them bringing the story together
There's some
and bringing
good
the thing
moments, too.
home,
There's some really good
for
CG
sure.
moments.
that's
too.
why when we were talking about the way he runs, like I didn't mind the way he runs.
That
in the
was
film.
funny.
So they did something
Goofy
in the
footy?
Yeah, they
where
did
they
something
kinda-
funny.
They called attention to how silly it
Correct.
was, and I was like, well, at least
That's
they
good.
know.
Yes.
They're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Hanging
that.
a lantern on it. It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, I think the big like non-spoiler things people are interested in is it fun? Does it make sense? Yes.
Yes.
Was Ezra Miller good? Like it or not,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
Like it or not, he was good.
Yes.
And does it set up potential? Like, is the James Gunn universe going to make sense? Yes. I think as spoiler free as I can before we get into spoilers, I don't think it's spoilers to say the multiverse does have something to do with this movie.
Oh, for sure.
And this movie contains my favorite explanation of the multiverse in any film I've ever watched.
Yeah.
I like the explanation in Spider-Verse. I like the explanation in Endgame, but this one was my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was kind of in layman terms.
Yeah,
It was
right,
like
for sure.
they
Right.
used like food to explain it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that worked.
That works.
That made
Yeah.
so much sense. I
That
love
worked,
that
yeah.
so much.
And that's a true testament to the character who was making the explanation too,
Mhm.
because that actor, he knows how to. That's what he's known for, just kind of being a normal guy playing a character. That's his talent. Whether it be him in a dramatic role or as a superhero. That
He's good.
He's good at selling, whatever
Conveying.
Yeah,
He's
Right.
like,
sell the
No,
part
yeah,
to you.
he's really good at that.
Yeah.
he's like Harrison. I mean, we're talking about Michael Keaton. He's like Harrison Ford is
yeah.
that he can bring groundedness
Groundedness.
to a movie that is
That's
off
a
the ball
word?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a word, right?
He provides
Groundedness.
that, and I think it kind of in a kind of like an indirect way. I know that they're two completely different films, but it kind of gives me hope for what Harrison Ford's going to be doing because it's basically confirmed that's the last time he'll be portraying Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is when Dial of Destiny's 2 weeks away.
I'm excited for that.
So I mean, that kind of gave me hope. I mean, Michael Keaton is 71 years old.
Doesn't
He
look
was
it.
great in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, for real.
He was great.
Yeah.
He
And
is 71
71 years old.
I thought he was 61.
71 as of like a couple months ago. I think
I
he's
thought it was
71.
61.
Wow.
No,
I
he's
mean,
71.
Sheesh.
That's
And
awesome.
he was great.
I want
He
to
was
look like
great
him at
in this
yeah, that's
71.
awesome.
Yeah.
Being able to play Batman.
Unbelievable.
He's
So
still in good shape. He's
so
been
what we
taking
got?
care of it. He's
No.
been taking care of
It's
it.
unbelievable.
I thought he did a great job, and I think I talked to you guys about it like probably a month or so back.
Oh, yeah.
To where he was back in costume. He played Batman in 1989. He's asking people to take pictures of him, and they're like, "Oh, you want to see how you still look at the costume?" He goes, "And I want to show my grandson." He's like, "Oh, I want my grandson to see me like as Batman,
as Batman.
kind of thing. I want to
That's
see
cool.
like
My
a
mom's
current."
age.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Another thing,
It's pretty cool.
like kind of like a not about DC movies that I loved about this movie is Michael Keaton's career trajectory. He was Batman. He was Beetlejuice. He was Batman. He was kind of all these like multiplicity, all these like goofy kind of
Mr.
characters.
Mom.
Gung ho.
And then Birdman comes out, and it's kind of a movie that tells a story of, oh, these actors shake this whole big superhero thing, be a serious actor.
Right,
and at the end
right.
of that movie, what his character learns is, who cares?
Yeah.
And his real life story, and he was nominated for an Oscar for that.
He
His
won, did he
He
not?
won. I think he won.
Did he win for that?
I think he
Yeah,
might have won.
absolutely did. I think he won for that.
Pretty sure he
Well,
won.
I'm not sure if he won or not, but point still stands. He
That's
Won Best
awesome.
Picture.
present at the Academy. The movie won Best Picture for sure. But now he's back doing what he loves and wants to do with his career, which is the entire point of that movie. And I think it's really cool to like see that like a film like actually inform like an actual human being and their career, and I think it gives it more poignance. It's kind of more about Birdman.
Best
than The Flash.
director, best picture,
And
uh,
nominated for support or for lead actor. I don't think he won.
Who won that year?
I think Eddie Redmayne maybe.
maybe.
For Everything Everywhere, or not Everything
gosh.
Everywhere.
I'm
The
like,
Theory
come
of
on.
Everything. The Theory of Everything.
Shane, what do you think?
Of the movie itself?
Yeah, what do you have to add?
I gave it a 9 to when I first saw it.
Okay.
Just because I was caught up in the whole thing. I gave it an 8 now, just because I thought the story was a little simple.
Okay.
But other than that, I as far as everything that comes along with it, and just to see how happy people were with it, it's a solid 8, and I dig that the most about it. It really is a fun film to watch.
Yeah.
So before spoilers, what's all our out of 10, Sonny?
I think I'm going 8.5.
Like solid 8 for me.
Yeah, I'm going 8.5. I liked it a lot.
I'm also doing 8.5 actually.
I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 because I did like Across the Spider-Verse a little bit more, and I gave that an 8.5.
Okay.
Same, and I'd say about an 8.
Yeah.
8
Okay.
out of 10.
I think if the first 15 minutes didn't really, I really did not like the first 15.
Okay.
I probably would have had it a little bit higher.
little
Actually, it just started off on a really weird foot for me.
You would have had it like 8.5 or a 9.
Yeah. Probably if the beginning wasn't like, and ultimately by the end, the beginning fits. It makes sense, and like reasons he does things the way he does in the very beginning of the film, he has explanations for them. I still think it was really wonky, and I didn't love it. But I do understand how someone could be like, that was a lot of fun to watch.
With the exception of like Bale and all of the Batman stuff, where would you rate this in DC movies?
Ooh, that's a tough
I have to give that some
I mean, I
thought.
don't know how you guys are
Yeah.
gonna feel about this, but I really enjoy Aquaman and the first Shazam, and I'd probably put it in that area with those two films.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can come back to it. That's,
not
that's
as
maybe
good as-
something to like.
Hey, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Yeah, I
one.
need to
Not,
second.
not as
So,
good as first Wonder Woman, but it's in the
I agree with
conversation.
that,
but
Shane,
it,
yeah.
Wow.
It's in the
not as good as
conversation.
first
Did you
one.
like it more than Wonder Woman 84?
Yes.
Okay.
That took you a long time
I
to
mean, that's
answer.
an understatement.
Yeah,
I like this a lot. I'll put this pretty high actually. On
I
my
thought the
list.
story actually for the movie was better than No Way Home.
Ooh.
I agree.
I thought it was better. It was
Yeah.
a better story.
Yeah, I
like
would
it.
agree.
I think
But-
it was a better use of the multiverse and even like kind of time travel-y stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
Time travel-y, wobbly wobbly.
And I like how like they didn't say like, oh, you know how this works from Endgame, but you think this is how this works. You go to this point and then everything thereafter is changed. No. Everything is on a fulcrum and turns, and there's some events that still touch and will still
Yeah.
happen. He uses Michael Keaton's Batman uses spaghetti
Yeah.
to like kind of explain this, and that sounds like kind of like what? But if you watch the movie,
Mom spaghetti.
it's
really
perfect.
great.
It's like an incredible way
works.
to describe it.
It works.
And that was just one of the small parts of the movies where I was like, you know what, this was well thought of, and I think that has a lot to say about Andy Muschietti and the
No, they did a good
It movies, and now this. I think he can be trusted with a franchise and bring on Batman: Brave and the
Yeah,
Bold.
medium to hot salsa, right?
I like that. I like that.
Medium to hot salsa.
So we're
Things
giving
are.
a spoiler warning right now. We gave it a little extra time, I think, as far as getting into the spoilers. But
we're like 17
we're gonna
minutes
talk about the spoilers right now.
So if you don't want to talk
If
about
you
the
don't wanna talk
spoilers,
about the
it's all
spoilers,
good. Just come back.
Get out of here,
And
Get
and then
outta here.
Get outta here.
come back
back
in a little
later.
bit.
Beat it.
we appreciate you.
Get out of here if you don't want spoilers. Scram.
So
You tell him, Shane.
about specifically about the spoilers that were the CGI spoilers, did you have any issue with those spoilers?
Those little ending
Those little
spoilers.
cameo deals.
No,
No,
I
I
thought it was fun. I thought being at the end of the movie and for what was going on, I thought it was fun.
I mean,
it was
Nicolas
really
Cage,
cool.
I
It was,
mean,
oh
come
my
on.
god, yeah, we got.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is full mullet.
He looked great. It looked awesome. I wanted to see a movie, or I want to see him fight some giant spider aliens.
I kind of want to see him as Superman right
You
now.
know what I mean?
kinda
Like,
just
that would be
like
kinda
do
fun.
Elseworlds or something.
Let's not go that far.
So
I
I
want
I
to see
thought it
all
was
that.
fun.
talked to some of you guys
You're
about
gonna
it.
finance
Nicolas
it. Shane.
Cage.
You're
I don't
gonna
know
finance
if you guys know the story behind
He's
that,
out of his
but there's
mind.
the mid 2000s he was cast, or even early 2000s he was cast as Superman.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the same producer who was the producer on the Wild Wild West was going to be producing that movie, and he wanted it to end with Superman fighting a giant spider, and everyone else involved was like, what?
Yeah.
No. And then it didn't end up happening.
That's pretty
And then
cool.
if you want to know why there's a giant spider at the end of Wild Wild West, it's because of that
Oh
producer.
wow,
Yeah.
wow! I loved that movie, by the way.
You did?
Kenneth Branagh.
I had the
and Will
the like
Smith.
the toys from like Burger King. They had like all the
The Kevin Kline?
Really?
yeah. You didn't know about that?
Nice.
Wow.
It's a great movie.
What about the other? What about the other CGI cameos, Marcus? Can you speak to that a little bit? We got
Yeah,
we
there-
got two key cameos.
Yeah, so it kind of, I guess it plays into the whole DC love letter part. So towards the end, you get this sort of like, I guess you can call it, where we're experiencing kind of that fulcrum of time and shifting, and we start seeing various clips of just things from the DC universe history. And some of the notable ones that stood out for me was like George Reeves, which was
That was super
Yeah.
cool.
that was super
That
cool.
was
That's-
cool.
Serial
He was the TV show Superman back in the 50s, and then you saw Christopher Reeves, and then of course
Was Helen Slater? I
Helen
think is the
Slater.
actress's
Yeah,
name.
Supergirl.
as Supergirl, and then you got into Nicolas Cage with the fighting the spider, which threw me off. But I was like, oh,
cool.
okay, cool.
That was cool.
It was
there
fun.
he is.
That's
there
fun.
he is.
Yeah,
It looks great.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
look.
great. Oh man, so it was really cool, and you saw other, like Adam West was also
The Adam West stuff was really
Yeah.
cool.
Adam West was in
See,
there.
I missed that the first time around. I missed Adam West.
Yeah.
The first time around.
Did you fall
I
asleep?
didn't-
No, I did not fall asleep.
How'd you miss it then? it was on the big IMAX screen that you were watching.
Well, because I was, well, for one thing, that we were
Probably
sitting in the
spilling
front
a drink
row.
on somebody.
We were sitting in the front row of the IMAX thing.
It was in the corner.
It was on like in on the right hand side of the screen in the corner.
Yeah, you're probably spilling a drink on someone.
That
Anyway,
is true. I was spilling a drink on my own pants. I think about
On
it.
your own pants.
My own pants.
hilarious.
but yeah, so just seeing that,
That was really cool.
That just kind of had me kind of welling up, just because even like from my era forward, I always like going back and experiencing some of that classic stuff. I do that. That's actually how
And
I
it
got
gelled well, too.
It
Yeah.
gelled well,
Yeah.
and honestly, that's how I got into omnibuses. Was because I kind of felt like when I first got into comics, I needed to catch up, so to speak. So I would start with collecting those classic stories and learning those classic origin stories and stuff.
Those are so cool.
And doing that, and I
was
can
really
just
fun.
you can kind of put yourself in that time period where, wow, this was
different.
like. Yeah, this was for George Reeves as Superman. I can't imagine a kid in the 50s watching the television, black and white, probably going crazy over
Yeah.
George
Everything to him,
Reeves,
yeah.
Yeah, it's-
and it's just like amazing, like, and just having those kind of fond memories. For me, it would be Michael Keaton, because I grew up in the 80s. So for me, it was kind of him, and then Prince doing the soundtrack and all that kind of stuff. So that all,
That was a great soundtrack.
oh man,
It was really good.
That was a great soundtrack.
I use that every time I post a Batman comic on my Insta.
Yeah.
But so for that, it was great. And then like I started, and then I bought like a lot of they're starting to like remaster all of that Adam West stuff. So buying that stuff now on Blu-ray, and
No, of course.
and
I
that
watched
stuff,
that show when I was a kid, too.
and honestly,
The
that
movie?
stuff looks great. They preserved it well. That stuff looks like what they did with the James Bond movies. They've
it's
restored
really cool.
those things, and they look like they came out yesterday.
That's cool.
Gee Willikers, Batman.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The colors are
it's
fantastic.
it's
on that, yeah.
great.
We have about 5-6 minutes. Sonny, I was going to mention to you real quick. How do you think it does as far as Ezra Miller's place in him playing the Flash going forward?
Did a good job.
Is it? He did a good job.
Did a really good job.
He did.
I mean, like, what do you do now moving forward? You know what I mean? I like.
It felt like Donovan had said it. Donovan didn't make it over. He had to get out of there. But he had mentioned that in the post-credit scene, it kind of sets up that version of their multiverse for Arthur or Aquaman and the Flash
Yeah.
to be involved in whatever James Gunn's plan is going forward.
that's what
Remember,
I
in
was
December, we get an Aquaman movie.
Right, which is strange. You know what I mean? Like, how is this
Right.
fitting in?
Maybe that universe is going to continue, and we're going to get Gunn's universe.
Because he was like, there was just all these different versions of Batman, and there was all these different universes. So I mean, like, he did mention multiverse stuff.
Yeah,
I
they
guess
set
just
up
because
the
I
new
doubt
thing
that
well,
they're
so I don't know.
including the Blue Beetle. He's saying that Blue Beetle is going to be the first official entry into
Of
that DCU. That what he's trying to do. I doubt that they're going to go. Oh, and by the way, Aquaman's not part of it.
Right.
Like it would be kind of weird for them to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think that going forward, after we get through Blue Beetle, is in August. It's like August, middle of August. I think that that's kind of like their launching point into what they're going to be doing.
So I mean, nobody even talked about it yet. Because I mean, for me growing up, this was my Batman kind of when I was younger. Clooney.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was the coolest thing.
Very cool.
I spoiled that for
me.
myself.
Because I mean, like, you know, all the old school ones. That's the like OG Batman before we got Bale and stuff that I personally remember. So
Yeah.
so yeah, is he our Batman? Like, where's Batfleck? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think
what's going
he
on?
gone.
You know what I'm saying?
Where's
Yeah.
Battinson?
Yeah, it would. I mean,
He
I
and
mean,
his
I know
Elseworld,
Battinson's
that would be
gonna
pretty
in
cool.
the movie,
Yeah.
but
that'd be pretty interesting.
because it's not going to. He isn't going to be included in the right. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Matt Reeves is saying it's like
It's its own.
Bat-
It's his own
It's
thing.
Elseworld, yeah.
Robert
Yeah, it's
Pattinson
also-
is not included in whatever they're going to be doing
No.
with their
It's gonna be
their
its own
larger
universe, yeah.
DC
Right.
U.
That's why I think
Clooney
they
showed
might
up. That's crazy.
continue with the Snyder characters as their own thing, and then have Gunn and the Legacy and Brave and the Bold be
All
its own.
be,
I wouldn't
its own.
mind. I mean, sure.
Right.
Why not?
There's room for all of that stuff.
There really is. There really is. And I
Yeah.
personally have nothing against the Snyder stuff either.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the fact that a lot of that has been incorporated in this movie was kind of nice because it's hard to just, I mean, why would you throw all that away?
Yeah.
It did so much for not only DC, but comic book movies in general.
For sure.
Like, yeah, I mean, that his Snyder cut did a lot.
I wish Zod
It
would
was
have been
very ambitious.
I wish
Whether
Zod
you
would have
like
been
it or
more in it. You know what I mean? I dug
Could have used
Zod
a
in
little
this
more
movie.
Zod.
Zod was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I always
Zod
loved
was good.
Zod.
Wanted a little more Supergirl.
Well, speaking
Yeah,
of,
definitely.
yeah, she was great.
She was great.
The two things I spoiled for myself was that,
She was absolutely awesome.
Yes.
was that I'm just gonna push past this.
Fight it,
baby. Push
Fight
it.
it.
Was that
Push it good. Push it good.
Absolutely.
she
She was just tight.
she dies in the movie in a
Thrust.
compelling way,
Yeah.
and she's kind of the fulcrum point for saying there is nothing they can do. Whereas in the
Right.
comics, it's
Yep.
Aquaman and Wonder Woman are going to destroy the world, and this it's Zod's going to destroy the world.
Right.
And there's
Right.
nothing they can do about it. I think Michael Keaton's Batman send off was fantastic. Watching Batman without a ship or anything else just contend with a Kryptonian because he's just
Mhm.
that good is something I've been waiting to see.
Right.
That's why
Dope.
the
So dope.
Snyderverse or the Snyder Cut and the Whedon's Justice League, both of them are guilty of just having Batman hang out in the background and not do much
True.
of anything.
Right.
I hate that.
Right.
He's able to that's the whole point of the story Tower of Babel, or not Tower of Babel, New World Order, is that Batman can contend with these superpowered
Yeah.
aliens.
Right.
Well,
And
he's
he
got
does.
hands.
He has a
doesn't
plan. He
He,
has
doesn't
always has a
win
plan.
in this movie. He's out of his depth, but he almost does.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
And
that
that's a
says a lot
lot.
about Batman.
That's a lot.
He straps that explosive onto.
That was so dope.
on the
I can't
head
remember
of
that
the,
character's name, but
What was like a Doomsday Junior? What was that?
no, he has
Oh, no.
has an actual name. He's one of the Kryptonians that come in the
Little Doomsday.
Donner Cut, and he's also named in the comic. I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah,
but
I-
he's-
was cool.
I remember.
Yeah.
but
Alf.
he was dope.
The little bag
Alpha.
that laughs when he opens it. I thought that was
Yeah,
really
that's
cool when they're in the
Oh,
Batcave.
Yeah.
Little
This
head
bag
nod.
has a laugh in it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see Michael Keaton's Batman is like, I mean, we don't know if we're ever going to see him play Batman again. Probably
Right.
more than likely not.
Right.
But you got to see him, make a return to kind of see the peak of his powers to where he was. Like I said, that movie was in 1989. And
Yeah, so
Batman
they didn't
Returns
have the
was like a
CG.
few years later. It's like without the CG, it's
Yeah.
all of.
It was a love letter to Batman.
It was
You
great.
know.
It was.
It was really good.
that
I
Batman.
really
Keep in
liked the
mind-
movie, and I liked it more than I thought I was going to like
Keep
it.
You know
Mine.
what I just realized?
Hey, Batman '89. It was all done in one soundstage.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah, one soundstage. So
One thing
you could just type, tight
that
focus.
the Flash says to Aquaman at the end that I didn't even think about until just now. He says that Aquaman is the same in every single timeline.
He did say that.
He did say that.
Oh man.
Because Austin just mentioned something. He was like, is he in the regular version of the universe? And then I remembered
It's like
that-
it's always you.
that's the point of I actually kind of like it a little bit more now. That's the point of that post credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is still going to be Aquaman because
Right.
he's the same
Right.
fluffy, fun-loving guy in
Yeah.
every single universe. So that actually makes it make a. That's what he says.
Same
That's what he
drunkard
does
in
say.
every
That's
time.
literally what he says.
Him saying it was great. Say it again, Fluffy.
No. But yeah, so he's going to be the same in every universe. That
Tell you what, my wife's
He's
going to
gonna
be
be
very
what?
excited about that.
it's going to be your mom.
She's gonna be very excited about
Very
what?
excited about Jason Momoa being the same in every timeline. And, oh, thank God.
Nice.
Jason Momoa is going to be there again. I can't wait.
Did you take her to see Fast X yet?
She's very interested, yes. But I haven't taken her yet because I won't do that to myself.
Frank, you and I, we got to see this movie again. We got to see this movie.
Dang, just you two? All right, whatever.
The Flash?
Yeah,
Oh,
Flash.
I'm gonna see it again
We gotta-
this
we gotta
weekend. I
see this
think
again.
we're gonna watch
Yeah,
it
I'm
again.
gonna-
Yeah, I'll probably watch it again too. I'm not a.
Guys,
Sunny
thank
Shane, you
you.
guys have- you're welcome.
We had a
All
good
you-
time tonight.
was good.
Thank you for everybody that came and hung out with us tonight as well.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate
Yeah.
it. We had a good turnout.
Yeah, we did.
It was-
we
it was
did.
good
Thanks to
times.
all those. Yeah, definitely. Thanks to all the guys who came out.
And thank you to
supported.
Art House for coming to hang out with us. Quan, what'd you give the movie?
9.
All right.
9.
I
Yeah.
like it. 9 out of
Popcorn.
10.
Yeah.
Popcorn was really good.
Yeah.
I give
I
the
finally
popcorn a
had it. The
7.5.
popcorn was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I had it too.
Some of the greatest popcorn in the world.
Mine was too salty.
Shout out to also.
I
to,
had some chick next to me watching the Aces game the whole time. That was weird.
Yeah, I saw it, dude.
That is
So
odd.
crazy.
Yeah, that was
They
so-
won by 30.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever known the score of an Aces game, but
Wow. Sexist.
Go Aces.
You're welcome.
Shout out.
Guys,
to-
thank you.
Yeah. Shout
Guys,
out
we will talk to you next week. We have a special guest live on the line. Philip Kennedy Johnson will be with us next Thursday talking about the Hulk and Green Lantern War Journal coming out in September.
Heck yeah.
Amongst all the other things he's doing right
Dude,
now.
it's
We'll be talking
crazy.
about it. So,
Every time I hear
guys,
about
have a great evening. Go see The Flash.
Yep.
super good.
Let
Yeah,
us know what you think.
Bye.
Bye.
Love.
Love you.
Peace.